Wow, thank you for all the love. Um, I have about 7 minutes, the same time that doctors have to receive all of our medical history. So I'll do my best to make this time count, okay? I remember when I first heard about precision medicine, the All of Us research. I was at the White House when our former President Obama had launched the initiative. And I was like, wow, like this is something that's going to change history. I knew that my great grandmother's cells had advanced science by 60 plus years, but I was like, what all of us want to do, like no longer will treatment be for a one size fit all, but it will be for the individual person. I was like, wow, how do I fit into that? Then I realized that all of us was about my family story. It was about your family story. It's about what we faced every day. So let me get to it. You're here because there's a disconnect between the communities we live, serve, and congregate in. Far too often do we acknowledge the problems or disparities in our communities. So we are faced with the question, how do we bridge that gap? Well, first we have to understand what happened to create our distrust and how that distrust caused lack of treatment resulting in lack of early detection. You have to know where you came from to know where we're going. A great deal of medical discoveries have come from minorities being unwilling participants. Can we say Tuskegee syphilis, Henrietta Lacks, Sioux Indians, and more? Where we live and our area codes shouldn't determine who has access to treatment or the care we receive. How do we determine who has access to health care and if the health care and treatment we will receive will be effective for all of us? Healthcare should be an equal opportunity. We shouldn't have to choose between bills, groceries, and even taking care of our families versus receiving that treatment. So today, all of us is doing something unique. They want to meet you where you are. We want to meet people in the communities where we live, serve, and pray. No longer are we the topic of discussion at the table. We now sit at the table to advocate for people who look like us, come from the communities we serve in. Today, you are part of a global conversation, a conversation that happens often but never really sees improvement. It's our duties as citizens and people from the community to no longer begin these conversations, have these conversations, but to continue the conversations. We have to challenge caregivers to talk more and follow through, and we have to challenge ourselves and our families to speak up more. I know I'm tired of receiving pamphlets at events with and numbers and hotlines with no real follow through. But today, we have decided to meet you all, as I said, where you work, play, and pray. Let's partner with these caregivers to determine what we need for our treatment. Let's be frank, our caregivers have all the degrees and the letters, but that's only half of the conversation. Community members' voices are important. We have the answers as to why we're not receiving the treatment, what's happening in our communities, what we need to transition to make necessary changes in research and medicine. We are the voice. Be bold enough to speak up and speak out, to make people we depend on listen, not only listen, but to make the changes we need. Thank you, guys.